Shout out to Jamie for sponsoring this reaction. Jamie sponsored the Willow Smith reaction that I did, the Tiny Desk, as well as the Leprous, which was so cool. I've got to get back to Leprous. That was awesome. So I'm excited to check out this band, Jamie, that you're recommending. By the way, if you do want to sponsor a reaction, I have it set up over on Buy Me a Coffee. So if you just go over there, Buy Me a Coffee, Tim Welch Vocal Studio, you can sponsor a reaction that will go to the Patreon community, which if you include the paid members and the free members, I have lots of free members. We're at over 2,500, I think almost 2,700 members. So when you sponsor a reaction, it does actually reach a good amount of people because I send out the sponsored reactions to the whole community over here. So thanks for that. Also, if you do want to regularly have a reaction sponsored for you every month, if you go to the highest tier of membership, which is the $50 a month membership, I have that included in that membership. There's a couple of you who are doing that now. I don't have a ton of spots that I can do for that, but if a few more of you wanted to do that, I would be okay with that. So yeah. All right, here we go. All right, Jamie, we're checking out. Let me just read a little bit that Jamie gave us for this here. He said he doesn't believe that I've come across the band Heilung yet from looking at the channel, and I don't believe that I have either. He said that to call them a band is kind of selling them short, and that he thinks they're more of a musical experience. And he said, people can answer questions as you go. Just jump in and watch it, and then I'll have some questions. So I'm going to be jumping in blind. I think that sounds like a fun way to do this. Here we go. This is Heilung. Anoana is the band, and this is a live performance. All right, let's check it out. That artwork's cool. Whoa! Look at that set. The stage set. Wow. Whoa! Yeah, this is awesome already. Oh my God. What is this language? Goosebumps. Like Tibetan throat. What is happening? I've never heard anything like this. It's very meditative. Look at that logo too, with the name and like the tree and the roots and stuff. Jamie, what? Oh my God. So, I just pulled my headphone out. Whoa. So that was crazy. That was like, it's weird. I felt like a meditation, like a spiritual. I mean, it felt very spiritual and, almost like the imagery, it almost feels like sort of some of the imagery that comes in when they do like pagan stuff in movies and things, with the antlers and the, the meditative, wow, like it was like spiritual, ceremonial, sort of tribal, very earthy, organic. Whoa. It really is so fascinating. The whole thing just feels like a world of its own. What was that one movie, Pan, where, God, I can't remember the movie. There's some image, like the whole visual feels very cinematic. Like it's like a movie I have, I'm remembering a movie that this feels very similar to. Pan's Labyrinth, I don't know. Anyway, they're very, very interesting. The vocal sounds used as well. We had some like some Tibetan throat stuff, which I'll talk about a little bit here. Let's just play through in some of these sounds here. And these instruments, yeah, I do definitely have a lot of questions. What is this band about? Who are they? I see that the female singer, the kind of who was singing a lot throughout, I don't know about lead singer. I don't know if you'd even call her that. She has the eyes obscured with a little, with the, what's it called? Tassel, or not tassel, the frill hanging down in her eyes, which reminds me a little bit of Orville Peck. If you've ever checked out Orville Peck, he's a gay country singer, basically, and he hides his face with a very similar look to what she has on the screen right here. It's very, very interesting. Wow. Okay, so yeah, please let me know any information in the comments about this group. This is fascinating. There are so many interesting artists all over the world that I haven't heard of. It's incredible. All right, let's check them out a little bit more here. So if you have names of these instruments, like what is that she's playing? This kind of droning 4-string instrument with a bow. And those drums are just kind of thundering throughout. They're almost like, they're like timpanis, but they sound like some indigenous instrument. Are these like Danish? You said this was a Danish band. Like, what are these instruments? It's so funny. I feel like half of my channel is like, I'm supposed to be the vocal expert, and half the time the channel is more about you guys showing this sort of American vocal coach who's been stuck in a bubble, all of this cool music I should have heard like for the last 20 years. So it feels like that's really, what's this channel actually? It's Tim discovering music he should have been listening to for the last 20 years, basically. Like that. And that almost looks like the Japanese instrument that they lay out on the table, the Kyoto. God, I'm going to just embarrass myself with all these different like instruments from all of these different cultures that I keep butchering the names to. Like, is it, I don't know why Kyoto, no, that's not the, samisen is the 3-stringed instrument. Is that the long one, the Japanese samisen? God, I mean, help me out if you know. Oh, okay. All right, here we go. Let's keep going. It's cool. Like, you see that thing? It's got like a sliding wood. There's like a little wood. Wow. It looks like there's like these little frets on it too. See those little lighter, can you see where the mouth, yeah, I think you can. You see there's like the lighter colored yellow wood. I wonder if those are frets where he stops that wood thing he's sliding on the strings. I'm assuming it is. That would make sense that that's what that is. Look at the visuals here with the branches and the light up there. That it looks like a drum, like with a animal skin drum with a light inside of it. Yeah. Listen to the rhythm. She's in a very brassy, pointy tone. Lots of chord closure, lots of thickening. She's in that type of a tone. No vibrato. She's not in a windy, husky tone. It's kind of cutting. Really, really brassy. Lots of reverb on the vocal. So not only are they in a big space, but they've got reverb on it to give it even more of a spatial effect. Very cool. Da, 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 ooh. And then she flips up into her head voice on the oo vowel. I've talked about in a bunch of videos how closed vowels like oo vowels and e vowels are just natural vowels to flip into your head voice on. See? Very common. She has a cool voice. It's kind of like a hook a little bit, because on my second listen through, I'm remembering that whatever that thing is there. It's interesting because I'm trying to figure out if there even is a song form. Is there like a verse and a chorus type of a thing? Doesn't really feel like that, does it? We just have this droning. So now he's down in, what he's doing right here is the same thing. It's so interesting, depending on what type of music making you're talking about, we would call these sounds different. And if you've been following along with my beatboxing adventures on the channel, I've been working on it a bit. And the sound here, that is the Tuvan throat sound, or the Tibetan monks type of a sound. That sound is the same thing that beatboxers use when they do throat bass. And what you're doing is you're taking your arytenoids, which if we pop out the larynx and look at it from the top, when you're breathing, you open your vocal folds like that. And the way they open is the arytenoids, which is where the nails on my fingers are. They kind of swivel open and closed. And when you do this sound that he's doing right here, what he's doing is he's taking the arytenoids, and you they look like shark teeth kind of, and they're standing on end, and then you tilt them in on each other, so it's like the little top knobs of both of your arytenoids start vibrating off of each other. Listen. He's in kind of like that tone, but doing it really well. Like, check this out. He's really the dominant tone here. I wonder about the female vocalists, because as a female vocalist, you can make that sound too. It just doesn't, it's not as low, obviously, as the male voice when they do it, because the male arytenoids are bigger, lower pitch, but you can still create that same effect as a female vocalist. I wonder if they're just putting him up. I wonder if they're doing it too. I can hear the female vocals are panned in my ears, but I can't tell if there's I can't tell if they're doing that or not. And I feel so ignorant. I don't even know, again, language-wise, what we're talking about here. Let me know about that too. It's so meditative. You know, it's very spiritual, it feels. Wow. Is that her doing those high sounds with her voice? Or is that like a whistle? It sounds like a voice. Yeah, she's like using her voice there. But it sounds like there's a little distortion on that high note too. In my right ear pan, it sounds like. Notice the pad effect. Like when we say pad effect in music production, we're talking about like synths or like strings that are just droning and they're just being held for a long time, creating a sound bed type of an effect. That's what this whole song has. It's just this this like wall of sound is just always there. Can you hear that? Notice that. It creates such a really sound bed is kind of the word, I think. Yeah, it feels like some spiritual ceremony. Cool sounds. Now, right here, she's sounding more like what I would expect singers from, like, you know, Iceland, like Greenland, like it's got that kind of that Nordic sound to it a little bit to my ears. Which is, how would we characterize that? It's a very pointy, very straight tone, lots of reverb, mixing, like immaculate pitch accuracy. I think about like Aurora, you know, that type of sound, or Bjork. Very similar types of vocal production in the way that they sing. And this has that similar quality to it as well. Wow. Wow, yeah, so that is kind of like a chorus, because I remember it, this part. Wow. So it's really interesting. Like, as far as the music, I don't, you know, this channel is not about me saying what I think is good and what I think is not good, like some music reactors, or about me sharing what my taste is or anything. This channel really is about me breaking down interesting music and, you know, using my years as a musician and vocal coach and all that to, you know, talk about what's happening in the music scene. But I will say, as far as the types of music that I actually put on when I'm hanging out with my girlfriend, or we're driving, or I'm doing things like, you know, around the house, it's interesting. I listen to a lot of meditative, trancey types of things that are not like lyric singer-songwriter, really, like, you know, lots of words and meaning. Like, I listen to a lot of trancey type of stuff. I don't know if that's because I've been teaching so much vocal music over the years that I like things that are a little more meditative and, you know, zoomed out. I'm not quite sure about that, but you know, this is something I would put on around the house. Like, I like this type of stuff. I like this sound world. It's a very interesting sound world that they've created. And now I'm curious, like, I'm so curious. I'm curious what they do. Do they stay in this world for all of their music, or is this for a particular album? Or like, how does this world vary? Like, how do they do different things? Like, what's the bandwidth of different sounds they make? What language is this? What are these instruments? Who's the mind behind, or the minds behind this whole thing? Or is this a collective? Like, lots of questions. Anyway, Jamie, thanks so much. That was really an interesting first reaction for me today. Yeah, great idea. All right, cool. So if you like this reaction, give Jamie some love down in the comments. And I'll see you in my next one. Cheers. Great recommendation.